Vjump is in, and our next big hint at the Super Dragon Ball Heroes crossover celebration. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we have the Vjump scans courtesy of DBS Hype, and in these scans we have confirmation on some things that are going to be coming during the upcoming Super Dragon Ball Heroes campaign on both Global and JP Dokkan. We have a bit closer look at the artwork for the Vegito and the Rose, the headliners of this year's celebration, as well as maybe not the closest look we've gotten, but just another look at the TURs for the Berserk controlled Vegeta, the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Broly, and the Dark King Fu. Now, it would appear based on the wording here, my Japanese isn't the greatest, but based on the symbols here, we can safely assume that all of these characters are going to be TURs, right? If we look over here at the Vegito where it says UR, we have the, what is that? That's katakana up here, and it's the same katakana down here, next to the UR symbol. So I think this means it's safe to assume that the other characters revealed are TURs as well. So gone are the days of the SSR release and then a year until their awakenings. We know for sure we're getting the awakenings for the Golden Metal Cooler and the Dark Janemba, right? Or Modified Janemba, whatever he's called. We're getting those awakenings for sure. So keeping everything new as TURs is really, really good, I think, for the celebration. It means you guys can pick these guys up in your summons and go straight into link leveling them. You don't gotta wait a year to do so. On top of that, we have confirmation of an upcoming burst mode for the Transcend the Limits Super Full Power Showdown. This is the Dokkan event for the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. So it'll be a nice way to pick up not only 20 stones, but a few of the Dragon Ball Heroes exclusive OSTs. So very, very exciting. Can't wait to do this. I always enjoy having fun with these burst modes. So it'll be nice, especially, I'm assuming, right, Heroes and crossover will be the main categories they want you to use. But that is not the most exciting piece of information here. As you guys can see here, we have confirmation on the next Dragon Ball Heroes EZA, and that is the EZA battle for the Vegito, the Super Saiyan 4 Broly, the Demon God and Demon Goddess Toa, and Deborah. So very, very exciting for EZAs, who we kind of assumed were coming, but up until this point we didn't have any official confirmation. It's kind of nice that it is finally here. Now, one thing you will notice here is it does say that there are 8 EZAs coming, so we can safely assume that it's probably going to be the rest of the guys that were on there, the Vegito and Broly's introduction banner, right? So we see already Toa, Deborah, right? That's 4 of the 8 EZAs, and we can safely assume that the other 4 characters are the characters who awakened alongside this banner. The Mira, the Demigra Makioka form, the Dark Masked King, and the Black Masked Saiyan. Now, the great thing about these guys EZAing means 2 things. 1, they should be available for blue coins. 2, they can be purchased with the White Stone. Or 3, they will have their own EZA banner, which is usually set at 30 stones for 3 multis, and I think that goes for 3 rounds if I remember correctly. Could be wrong there, but either way, there is a chance to pick up some of these guys if you were missing them. There's a good chance Vegito is going to be somewhat relevant, given how they've treated other EZAs. Hopefully he's the one that's good, because he has a support passive, and support for Giant Ape power be really, really helpful, especially if you're someone like me who loves to run a Super Saiyan 4 team. So very, very exciting to see that. To add on to that, right, there doesn't seem to be much else here, right? No confirmation of a new red zone or something, although I'm sure one is coming, maybe just not here, right? We might get some new stages added to the current red zone, which is why there's no labeling of it here, but we will see when we get the information drop as we approach closer to the celebration. Remember, there will be a live stream or Dokkan now or something to reveal most of what's coming up in the celebration here in the coming days. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. But I did want to leave you with one last thing, right? Good old Halvard here over here on Twitter went ahead and posted up the calcs for these EZAs so you guys can get a good look of what we're talking about when we look at these guys. Like, these guys are going to be pretty relevant, right? Looking at the HP stat for this VEGITO, the attack stat, maybe not so much on the defense side, although that's still pretty good, right? Attack for an EZA TUR, that's pretty good. He's going to be on par with most of the TURs released this year in terms of attack. HP is also pretty up there for a TUR, so that will really help, especially when you consider the fact that, you know, Dragon Ball Heroes is mainly a TUR focused team. There are no LRs on that team, so him having a high HP stat like that is very, very helpful. Looking at the Broly, same thing, another high HP stat. The problem, we'll have to see how the Rose and the Vegito's leader skills are handled, but like last year's bunch, for example, they were very limited to their super and extreme classes. So a character like Broly, who wants to be around other giant 8 power units, couldn't have really done that on the previous teams, but depending on how they handle Rose or Vegito or this new limit breaker for Broly, this guy could be rocking, especially with a big attack stat like that. Remember, this guy, while that does say 20,000, which is less than the Vegito, this dude is launching multiple super attacks, so very, very nice. On top of that, he's got some pretty awesome defense there, so gonna be looking pretty solid here. The Dark King is actually pretty good. Stats-wise, he's not going to be that great, but like if we open him up here, let's pull up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like, he was actually pretty good. He was really, really helpful in a lot of SBRs when he awakened. So like if we take a look at his awakening, right, he's very, very helpful because, right, once he gets that first hit, he's basically got an extra 100% defense, and for the time of his release, that was pretty big deal, right? This was back in early ESBRs and like Fighting Legend Goku events, right? That was the worst we had, so very, very helpful. Add to that, right, he's got guaranteed guard and he's recovering HP, so on top of gaining extra defense for being hit on a attack that he's going to be guarding, he's recovering. So this guy is going to be really, really solid. He's going to be very helpful to the Heroes team, where a lot of characters don't have this guard ability. So his EZA is going to provide a huge buff to the extreme side of things. Also with the Vegeta, he wasn't that great. He had a few uses back on his release, but with his stats updating the way they are, I could see him having some use next to the Dark King. But here's the guy I really wanted to focus on. This guy is the perfect partner for one Sealess, Hearts, and he's also a halfway decent partner for Zamasu, so him getting an EZA will be very, very helpful. Stats aren't going to be the craziest, but like the others, if we take a look here, right, let's go back one more. Where is it? Okay, his pre-awakening status actually isn't half bad, right? It's not the worst, but definitely this EZA is going to help him, right? He is a support team, right? And like if we're talking, if he is able to be run off of the crossover team, or Dragon Ball Heroes team for that matter, you're talking about like a team like Zamasu, where there's tons of support already, and he's just adding even more to that upon his EZA. His ability to reduce damage or reduce enemy attack and defense is very helpful in the early phases of certain SBRs. So I could definitely see this guy getting some use next to the likes of Hearts, Sealess, and Meki Kabuto once he EZAs, because Meki Kabuto still has some pretty good use in the meta with the current setup. So I'm excited to see how this guy turns out. But that is it for the upcoming EZAs and the Vjump scans. There's a lot to process here, and as we get closer and closer to the release date, which should be on the 21st, we will get more and more information. I will be sure to get it out as quick as I can. So very excited for this celebration. So guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, how hyped are you for this upcoming Dragon Ball Hero celebration? How excited are you for Vegito and Broly to be getting their EZA? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.